A very good second morning from Lesvos. Oh my, what a sight. I thought I'm going to do my vlog now that I've seen this. I'm going to start the second one today because I've just come down this path from Colony Village. Just wanted to see what was at the end. I was following the river to see if there are any birds in there. We'll get to that in a second. But I'm going to turn you around now because I'm going to show you what I'm seeing. How's that? I mean, it's not a sandy beach, a beautiful sandy beach, but if this was anywhere and it was this quiet in any country, I'd be here with my food, my barbecue, my picnic stuff, drinks, cigar. Just, wow. Who needs their own private island when you can just do this sort of a thing? I said yesterday that I wouldn't do vlogs continuously because I want to keep my hands free for the birds, but this seems like a quiet enough spot just to do a little catch up. Just going to go out here. It's house martins over my head. So had my first breakfast, good night's sleep, slept for 11 hours, got me caught up. Oh, I can already hear the sound of the water. Beautiful. And 11 hours sleep, so I am pretty much caught up. Had nice breakfast, coffee, said hello to a few people and passed any hidden some tips and listening in on the chatter, anything new. And then the WhatsApp group, all the little interesting birds, a lot of lifers that I haven't seen yet. I'm yet to see them. I'm clocking the locations. I'm taking screenshots to remind myself to go there. And yeah, the first thing I did was I just walked around the property before I left to have a look at these house martins and I noticed there was a section, they're all over the place, but this particular section, you could see them house building. Just stunning to watch. I mean, you could stand there all day, just sit there with a coffee and watch that sort of thing, making the little nests with the stuff they've got stored in their beak. I think that's just a boy out there, a B-O-U-Y boy, that kind of boy. They just filmed them for a while and just got my fill of that. And then I went round to the salt marshes, the western section this time. I think somebody mentioned that there were birds around there, little stints, and immediately you see flamingos, greater flamingos. Everything there's nothing photography wise to keep. It's all video with heat haze. There were the greater flamingo. I filmed them flying, waiting for them to come closer so that I could get them out. The heat haze didn't happen. And all the little birds running around, people mentioned little stints, and I'm not 100% on my idea of little stints, but they definitely appeared different, even in the distance with the heat haze, that they must have been some of the little stints. I think somebody counted 93. Those must be some of them. I filmed as best I could. So 93 little stints. I mean, usually I've gone to sort of all marshes to get one, if I'm lucky. I've got a couple in my lifetime and they've been at a distance. So to have, several dozen is pretty good. There was some sort of I'd say great white egret. It looked mahoosive the way it was flying. I don't know if there's like a little egret, a great white egret, and then above that, I'll have to check that out. But I'll just say I'm sure it's a great white egret. So that's another species on the list. I didn't capture them. Saw bee eaters again. I will get them. I'll get them. There'll be no problem. I'm sure I will. Had a called my wife and had a chat, and there was a lark, crested lark, singing right above my head, and I was able to stick my phone camera up, and even she could see it and hear it from that angle. There were common shell duck out there, so we're getting again, no good photos, just a bit of video of those. Another distance one, I saw one of the hooded crows harassing a raptor. Wild guess, just a common buzzard. It looked pretty dark, probably too dark for the short-toed snake eagle. And then came down to like I said, I'm at where I'm at now, the top of this road. I wanted to check out all the little rivers and inlets and stuff. And this river section here, I was able to drive. I tried driving on the eastern side, so I had the sun on the right side for any birds. Had a look north and south of this bridge, and there was a little egret at the top, and I saw a common sandpiper at the bottom, nothing much. But at one point when I just briefly stopped, I was on the phone with my wife, this raptor flew out, and I went, oh, I didn't know what to do because it was it was in front of the cab, it was to the side. It looked like it was going to land, but it was being chased by something small. The best way I can describe it, not saying it was, but the closest bird I could imagine it would look like would be a merlin, like a female merlin. and then it flew into the tree. I tried to see if it landed anywhere, couldn't find it. Therefore, I don't know what it was. And as I came a bit further down, I heard a song thrush singing that goes on the list. I was trying to look to get some video of it, couldn't get it. And then a blue tit came out. I think the blue tits are a subspecies, if I'm not mistaken, from my trip to Rhodes. And the goldfinch. And my list is now, where's my list at? I think my list is at something like 58, 57, 58 of species. I heard somebody at breakfast saying, are you keeping it, not to me, to someone they knew, I overheard it, are you keeping a list? Yeah, I've got to get round to it. So it does, it's like people just want to take photos, and I've got to be on the ball. I've got to take photos, I've got to take video, I've got to write an ongoing script, I've got to film vlogs, keep an eye on the WhatsApp group, start imagining the editing in my head. Even though I've got vlogs from the UK, I've still to catch up on. So, but I'm on top of it. Don't worry, folks. I'm always on top of it. Just wanted to show you this. This was a lovely place to do it. Nice one. Well, this seems like a good enough place to do a catch-up vlog. Wow, another bit of beach just below the race course. Yeah, old race course. I don't know if it's still used. It looks like it might be because the floor is still worn. And there's the salt harvesting going on over there. I try not to spin you too quickly. This place just keeps getting more beautiful and beautiful. So I finished off with the goldfinch, the blue tit from further south. And as I was looking at the map, I could see that something called Metochi Lake was just above me, and I'd seen it come up in the WhatsApp group. So I sort of headed that way. And just before I got there, at the bottom of the road, like literally 100 meters away, I could hear bee eaters. So they were in the distance, and I got off some shots. There's a lot of heat haze. I'm talking to you now before I've processed them, so I won't know just how sharp they are, but I've got a big flock of them going up. I tried to do a bit of video. I won't bother showing you. I'll show you a little bit. I'm probably going to get more. I've seen them every day. I'm seeing them several times a day. There's going to be a point where I get really good shots of them, so I won't have to worry about that. And then there's birds landing in the trees, and I couldn't tell whether it was sparrows or whatever. This one looked pretty big, and it landed. It was hard to, the camera was struggling to focus because of the harsh backlighting. And I got off some shots, pretty big bird. And I got some photos. I couldn't figure out what it was. So I asked the group. I didn't want to ask the group. I don't want to keep harassing the group for answers to birds. But somebody said great reed warbler. That lines up. It's big enough for a great reed warbler. I've only ever recorded the sound of one in Mallorca. So I've got a usable, the ones I got of the full side of the body are no good. I'll include one of those, and none of them are greatly sharp. And then one a side shot. I don't think I'll even keep this one. I might keep it, but it's just it looking back, and that's where I got a sharper headshot. Then head up to the Metochi Lake. Saw birders all grouped up. I went, oh, here we go. And when you see that, you approach with caution. You don't just come and go, all right, guys, what's the skinny? Tell me what's going down. Yeah, man, I'm the man. Tell me. You have to sort of pull up, keep your distance, get a feel for what's going on. Don't disturb anyone, kind of look where they're looking and like pretend you kind of know it's there anyway. And you're like, yeah, I've seen it. Don't worry about it. Don't ask any questions. And then sort of see someone looking directly who's seeing, he's seen it and look and go, what's it? And then I heard over here, little crake. I went, okay, so I've got it clocked in there. And then it eventually comes out and I get some, I think I went 4K crop because it was so distant. A lot of heat haze, but it's a lifer. And filmed it several times. I don't know what everyone else is getting because most people are using scopes and bins. There was somebody there that had one of those lenses. It's tiny. It's only that thick. It was on a DSLR or something. But it said 24 to 3000 millimeters. So that wipes the floor with my bad boy here. He'll get some great video, but still has to fight that heat haze. a cormorant went in and somebody said, oh, pygmy cormorant. So I snapped a couple of shots, nothing usable. And again, it was spotted landing off to the right on a mound, so I filmed it. Again, nothing usable because of the heat haze, but it's a lifer. You can see it's definitely an unusual looking, definitely different to your normal cormorants. And headed down to the feed, what is it? Tetsanikis River, is it? I've screwed that up, I know I have. Went down there on either side. I saw bee eaters and all sorts of stuff. But the first thing I saw by the road bridge was house martins going down and collecting nesting material. And what was the bizarre behavior I found was they'd go down, they'd go around, root around for 3 or 4 seconds, and all take off. Flick around in the air, flick around in the air, go down, do it again and again. And the first couple of times I thought I was looking up to see if there was a raptor scaring them off, and there wasn't. So I don't know what that behavior is. Maybe it is just to throw off any raptors that are keeping an eye on them and that they're staying there just a bit too long. Went back to the field from last night where all the wagtails were. All the usual stuff there. There were wood sandpiper and the black-headed wagtail. Crossed the field, went over to see if the bee eaters were on the other side still, which they were, but I'll get to that in a second. And keeping an eye on my left as I went up the river and saw a bird, looked a bit big. Oh, look, took my camera out, it was a snipe. Now, it looked pretty big. There's a big bit of confusion and probably embarrassment here. But it looked pretty big, and I thought, is this one of these... I didn't do any research before I came here, but I knew something was... They'd mentioned something about a larger snipe. So I filmed it for a few seconds, and then I Googled specifically just Lesvos snipe, and it didn't say common snipe and jack snipe and great snipe. It just said great snipe, as if to say that's what you're going to find here. And I thought, well, that makes sense. It's a very big bird. And I put it on the group and got lots of likes. And I thought, wait a minute, lots of likes, that suggests it's quite rare. I really hope I haven't messed this up. And I've asked a couple of birders, and even though there's a bit of uncertainty, I think it's safe to say it's common, even though it looked weirdly big. I mean, when you see a snipe, they're tiny. And this thing looked the size of like a coot or something like that. So anyway, I'm not gonna count it. Apparently the white feathers on the outer feathers are more distinct for a greater snipe. A great snipe. Always a couple of common buzzards. I think I've seen 3 circling up by the mountains. I'm keeping an eye out for all the unusuals, you know, the rough-legged, long-legged, whatever. Short-toed snake eagle. I saw a black stork in the air. Again, I videoed it for quite a while. I'll take the bit with the least amount of heat haze. And then as I turned into the marsh a bit further up, back into the salt marsh, I saw lighter bits of white on it, the size of a crane. And sure enough, it was the white crane. Stork, crane, stork, black stork, white stork. Storks. White storks. And I saw one, and eventually it became 3, and they were circling. So they're here as well. White storks and black storks, excellent. Popped into that little bit of water where I saw the black spurred lapwing last night. Wasn't there. It was actually much fewer birds than last night. So it must be an evening thing where they all sort of go around that area, start building up their numbers around there and preening all the rough and the wood sandpipers from last night. Larks singing. I'll show you a couple of them. They were a couple singing really close to the car. As I carried on further along, I saw some birders looking out. Same thing as earlier. Approach with caution and just don't say anything, just go slowly and just listen to what they were saying. And then I heard red-breasted pipit. I thought, okay, well, that'll be a lifer. And then they said, oh, look, it's there. And I videoed it. And eventually, as time progressed, they started landing on the wires. And then to the point that I got some fairly decent ones, sharp, well exposed, with good exposure from the sun, not backlit. There was some on either side of the wire, but I got the better ones. And then one had a bath in the off to the side of the road, and it flew up and knows where to hide to dry up and preen. It was hidden behind all these little branches. I couldn't get a straight shot of it. Very clever little bird. And as I was reversing, this is why it always pays to keep your head on a swivel and look everywhere. As I was reversing, there was a puddle in the road and I could see something moving. It did look like the black-headed wagtail, and I was very close to the puddle. I hadn't flown off, so I braked up, put the handbrake on, got out, and it was still there having a preen. So I got my closest shots yet, loads of usable shots from every angle, preening. Then it had I got low down to the ground. I flicked the screen out, tried to get some of those with minimal success, limited success, a bit of wing blur, which suggests I need 5,000th of a second shutter speed. And then eventually it had a little bath, and it sort of had a bath, and the next thing it did when it had a bath was jump out of the water, and I wasn't zoomed out enough. So I remembered to do it this time, and it jumped up in the air as it had a quick bath and then flew off for a preen. So that's awesome. So now we carry on, and very quickly there was a bird on the fence, very small, Zitting cisticola, and I managed to get loads of usable photos. Excellent. Backlit, not as good as the ones I got in Faro from like 3 years ago, if you remember, but excellent. It's very hard to get those boys and girls. So I'm very happy with that. And then some excellent shots of a corn bunting. I'm gonna post everything I see. So it lined up. It was well lit for a shot. So I fired off some shots on the side of the car. And then coming onto the racetrack, short-toed lark. So in my mind, I thought it was a lifer, but I believe I have it in Menorca as a lifer. But a couple of good shots from the racetrack here. Okay, so I think we're done. Right, second day over with. I thought I'd better do this now because we are almost out of light. Okay, I've just had a good something in those trees. I hope it's a scops owl. Did I mention I heard the scops owl last night? Anyway, let's go around. No, it's the bells of goats. Sorry, I'm a bit disorientated trying to keep my eye on things. So the last time I spoke to you, I finished off at the racetrack, and as I went round in front of the salt mound, somebody stopped and got out the car and pointed at something to somebody else in the car, and then they drove off. And I slowly drove by and noticed something at the back of this tree, and got it in frame, and I could see it was something coloured. Just from the colouring alone, it was different, and it was some sort of shrike. So it's going to be a lifer. Took a picture, took several pictures. None of them are particularly usable or keepable, but they're, I'll just put them up for you to see. And somebody said it's a masked shrike, so that will be a lifer. Pretty good. So going back along the salt pans, crew of people outside of the hide along the road. I went, okay, approach with caution. Got out, I drove past some people. I said, what's up? They said, curlew sandpipers. Awesome. So pulled up, and there was a flock of them, I think about 10 or 12, just sat in the water sleeping. Got loads of these photos off. Brilliant. I went for photos to start with the intention of them moving to film. And then I thought, let's go 4K crop and get right in there. And as I was, somehow, I don't know what was going on, I was adjusting my settings, and I took my eye away from the camera, and something caught my eye and went overhead, and it was a tern. But the bill was black, which caught my eye. And I didn't see anyone else moving, but I was already in photo mode, and I fired off some shots and thought, what is that black bill? So I got the shots off, and the curlew sandpipers have gone. I was talking to the guys there, they were giving me some information and stuff, and I said, can you just check this, is that a boat-billed tern? And he said, yeah, where'd you see that? And I said, just above my head. He said, why don't you shout for it? And I went, I didn't know what it was. Any time I see something different or new or something I don't recognize, I snap off photos and then check it. And I said, I remember it was like 2 years ago, there was one at All Marshes in Kent in the UK, and I went for it and missed it. Finally got it. And some people have been seeing flocks of 10, so I'm going to get my fill of those for sure. But lucky, that's another lifer for me. What else we got here? Mast shrike, yeah, gold-billed tern. Further along, lark. I've got to watch the lark stuff because they keep giving me layup shots, as in giving me really easy shots to take and slowing my progress. But this one had a bug, a grub, so I was working on it for a little while, and I just thought that there has to be, you have to film that sort of thing. And just as I finished that, I saw something walking around, moving around in the grass behind it, and it was some sort of tortoise. Not one of the water ones, an actual proper tortoise. And I don't know if it's been released or what. Tortoise? Tortoise. I don't know. Tortoise. And again, black-headed wagtail, giving me loads and loads of great shots. I'm going to get my absolute fill of those while we're here. And eventually I decided, so I go back a bit, with the black-billed tern and the chaps I was talking to, they told me about this location. I won't put it on the video because I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a bit, you know, have to be a bit careful, but told me a location of a great long-eared owl, not a long-eared owl and a scops owl. So he said, just look out for that. I said, where would I look? He said, just look for the birders when you get there. And I went to where he said, hopefully I got the right place. And I didn't see any birders, so then maybe they go in the morning time or something like that. I think he did say he went at 11 or something, so I'll try again tomorrow. I went to dinner tonight a bit down because I didn't see them, even though I've had several lifers today and dozens of great photos. And so while I was waiting around for that, there was a strange single chirp going on around me. Eventually it turned out to be a chaffinch, male chaffinch. And I checked it up. There's no subspecies here, it's just common chaffinch. So it was in the tree, and then it went down on the floor and started picking up grubs and wasn't too bothered by me moving around. I nearly said what he was moving around and give away the location. And then there was a greenfinch, there was several greenfinch around calling. Then one of the chaffinch I put the tripod up and caught a little bit of song. Little thing, just a sparrow with a big bug on a fence. And the final thing for today, which makes the species 65, I'm sure I'm going to get over 100. But 65 at the moment was a great tip. So they've got the blue tits and the grey tits here. Anyway, had a big, mixed grill, got my protein in. And that's me done for the night. I've just had a banana, bought some water up. And I'm going to listen for the scops out of the hotel again. Got my flash gun ready. Let's hope. See you tomorrow. So let's go back to last night when I finished up. When I parked up the cab and went into my hotel, heard a calling of a bird, and 3 birds took off. I could see by the shape that they were the black-crowned night herons. So that's awesome. It was so dark. I got off some shots. I'm not even going to show them because they're all blurred. It was like a 100th of a second shutter speed. You can't take flight shots like that. And then kept hearing the scops owls. And then I heard about 3 of them. And you know what? I thought, get my flash gun out. That's why I brought it. And we'll go hunting and see if we're lucky. Went out, listened for it, drove and listened, and then found the tree it was in. It was quite easy to find because of the noise it makes. And searched this tree, no joy. Heard it moving around. I saw it flicker, come out of the tree a couple of times. So I'd seen it. And eventually I just gave up. I was getting bored and tired, and went back to the hotel. Was getting ready for a shower, and then I heard it calling outside the hotel. And I thought, am I bothered to do this? Can I be bothered to do it? And okay, just go, because how many times are you here? So I got all my clothes on again because I was going to have a shower, and I went out, flash gun ready. And luckily, because what I did the first time I went out, I thought, you better go out and work your flash gun, learn how to use it again, because I've completely forgotten. And I was lucky because I couldn't remember. I had my camera set on multi-shot, which it doesn't allow. You have to set it for single shot or else the flash won't fire. So Luckily I did that, because you'll hear in a second. With that practice, I went out, and on the street I could see a group of birders that had obviously been out for dinner, and they were up flashing their little torches into the tree. So thankfully they'll help me find it. And it flew, after a couple of minutes, it flew out, saw another tree it landed into, got under that tree, and then couldn't see it. And then we saw it fly from one branch, and it landed on an open branch, good enough to photo. And luckily, because I stupidly don't have a torch, I bought one ages ago, but these ones you buy on Amazon, the battery goes funny and they won't charge. Amazon. Anyway, they flashed their torch on it. I fired off a shot, and then had recycled the power, got another one, got three off. First one was out of focus, second one in focus with the bird slightly looking like 30 degrees away from me, which is fine. A little bit of red eye, which I'll clean up. Here's the photo. And another one looking behind, which is sharp, but not good enough. But then something went wrong with my Canon, my flashlight, and started overexposing. That's good, because what I've done is I've learned how to manually set it so that it doesn't accidentally fire off too much light and destroy a picture. So I got a usable one. I got my first ever scops after chasing the one in Rhodes behind our hotel, Rhodes, Greece. The one that went to Broadstairs, I don't want to do any of those big twitches where there's thousands of people all there looking for the same bird with, you know, it's just not for me. I didn't want to do it. I thought I'll get it one day, and there it was. I've got it. So I got my first owl. And I did forget to mention, when I first went out before the scops, I went driving along the road, and almost immediately an owl flew across the road and landed on a branch. And I could see it was a long-eared owl, and I sort of angled myself, pulled up, ready to get out. Car went by me, and that scared the owl off, and I was like, so at least I'd briefly seen the scops and briefly seen the long-eared.